Hello, Internet, and welcome to Saturday night's Mistborn. We are back, finally, to play the Mistborn RPG based on the novels by Brandon Sanderson. Thanks for joining us this Saturday evening, afternoon, whatever time might be for you. We're very excited to be here. Before we get into the game, though, I'm going to talk about some of our programming updates for the next couple of weeks. Our next stream after this one on the channel will be tomorrow. Sunday, we'll be playing Slang 201, which Savannah runs. It is a Monster of the Week game that we've been playing for a while now, and you can come join us for that. We're currently grappling with our characters' innermost guilt, so it's a nice lighthearted way to get in on the series. After that, a lot of our programming is going to be cut back over the next couple weeks because Savannah and I are moving. So we will not have most of our streams probably for the next 2 weeks at least. There will still be Tabletop Tuesdays, and there might be some other video game streams going on in the meantime. Join our Discord or follow us on Twitter if you want to know more information about what we're going to be doing and when we're going to be coming back for most of our other shows. But at the very latest, we should be back up and running after the 1st of February. That is our programming right now. So I'm going to go ahead and let my players here introduce themselves, talk about who they are, what they do on and off this channel, and who they're playing here tonight. Starting with Savannah.
Hi. Sorry, I was fixing something. I'm Savvy. I'm at Savvy Seaworth on the internets, mostly on Twitter, where you can find my streaming schedule pinned to the top of my page. When I'm not moving to a different state, I'm here Thursdays through Mondays, either playing in games or running them. Like Val said, we will have Slaying 201 tomorrow afternoon. And then we would normally have The Forgotten on Mondays, which is a Dungeons & Dragons game I run here. But I'll be in a car for most of the week, so we won't be doing that. But yeah, and then most weeks I'm also on Sunday nights on twitch.tv/lbhack'emup playing Masks with friends. But tonight I am playing Violette, who is the Mistborn.
Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex, some guy on the internet. I'm mostly here Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays. I'm either playing in for Tuesdays, either the Burbs, which is our Savage Worlds game run by David. My Himbo Handyman just got to learn some spells out of the Necronomicon, so that's going to be fun to get back to. And then, that's that. I'm also Sunday nights in the Masks game on LB Hack'emup's channel as well. And for this game, I am playing the Hadzel, the Terrace Feruchemist Keeper.
RJ.
I hit the start button instead of my unmute. Hi, everybody. I'm RJ, and you can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I tweet about the nerdy things in my life and sometimes stream with my pals. You can catch me here on Thursdays and Saturdays. Thursdays for our Elven Creatures game, and Saturdays for both Mistborn and Star Power. Other than that, on the interwebs, you can catch me on Sundays over at the Hype Goblins channel in the AM, and on Monday and Sunday nights over at the Indoor Adventures channel, where on Monday we do a 5e campaign, which is homebrewed, and on Sunday nights we do Beyond the Witchlight. It'll be a blast. But today I'll be playing ZaKeer, who is a Conjure Spy.
And Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan. This is the game that I am in, and I play Mouse, who is a Tin-Eye Misting.
And I'm Val. You can find me at the Kraken's Crown, Twitter and Twitch. I'm here Thursdays through Mondays playing and running games. I run Neon Souls on Fridays, which is a Fate-based sci-fi swashbuckling game, where this week I baited them with a beach episode and then juked on them with a Groundhog's Day. And it was very fun. So you can join us picking up on that in a couple of weeks. And then all weeks from this game, I run a game called Saturday Night Star Power, where you play another Fate game set in a sort of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Jujutsu Kaisen kind of inspired universe. So check out those on our VODs and on YouTube. But tonight, I'm just narrating this game. Y'all ready to get started? All right, so recap time. I don't have an official recap I wrote up. We're gonna kind of I have like a very base. I'm gonna just kind of run through kind of where things stand so far, and then we're gonna come in kind of in a little bit of like a planning. We can do some like meta stuff to talk through like what the plan is, and then jump into a scene because it's been a little bit since we played this game, and I know all of us are kind of like, what was even happening? So last we left off, your crew is currently in the process of committing a heist or planning a heist against the Venture household. You are planning on robbing one of their supply barges, which you have, through your intel gathering, determined that there's possibly a large source of atium coming through, which would help fund you for your greater ambition of taking down House Alariel. You have kind of set up the points or the steps to your process, and you have about a month that you've given yourselves to bring all this to fruition. The steps that you had laid out, as I haven't written, there were 5, and you've accomplished the first 2.5 essentially, which was scouting the barge schedule, which Mouse has successfully done, employing a thieving crew for the job, which you have gone above and beyond. During the last session, you met with actually 4 thieving crew leaders and spoke with all of them together in hopes of convincing them of your cause. There was Collar, who is sort of a slick and kind of sophisticated ska thieving leader. There was Hacks, the kind of rough and tumble one. There was Arch, who's a little bit older, seemed to be a little bit more wary and kind of street smart, and Coil, a paranoid sort of infiltration type individual. You were able to successfully convince the 4 of them to help you, using a combination of truths, Violette revealing herself as the heir to House Laurent, and making also promises as to the division of the spoils along the way. Though I don't believe you revealed to them that atium was the source of your was the like goal here. I think you just said that you would. Yeah, I think
we
you
would get the atium. They would get whatever else was on the barge.
Okay. I didn't remember that. I remember that the promise was not to give them atium. So yeah, they would get all the other supplies to divide amongst themselves, but y'all would get the atium. Okay. You began after recruiting these 4 crews and about the 50-ish crew members total that they have. You began the process of outfitting and training your new team. I think you had successfully negotiated for armaments for them to have be outfitted with weapons and shields. You even went so far as to decide to train a select group of them as haze killers, or in the fighting style of haze killers, in case there are any mistings or potentially Mistborn aboard the barge shipment guarding it. You did so by meeting with a salesman who sold you your barge that you're using as part of this plan. Big Barney and his bargain barges. you noticed that Barney seems to have some sort of military training or history himself, and Mouse went to speak with Barney to convince him to train some of your soldiers. You were successful in doing so, not making any definitive promises, but promising at least to come by, look at them, see if there was anybody that was willing to, or I guess capable of undertaking his training, kind of get a lay of the land. And as we left off, Mouse had a brief exchange with Twist, who seemed to have some familiar knowledge or have come across some information that Mouse may want to follow up on. So that is where we left off. Like I said, you had the 3 goals. You've accomplished 2 of them. We're currently in the process of finishing the 3rd one, which is the actual training of the crew. That is sort of undergoing or being undergone right now. I had step 4 here as securing the contract with House Venture, and then step 5 is the actual planning and execution of the robbery. Does that sound right to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Except
Okay.
we already have most of a robbery plan. That's why we were drawing on the map last time.
Yeah, the planning that
We got
step 5
distracted
is
by the robbery excitement.
Yeah, step
It's very
5.
exciting.
You've come up with a pretty good plan. So I guess, where do y'all want to start with this? What makes the most sense as far as where things are right now?
I mean, somehow we gotta secure the contract, so that probably is not my job.
Yeah, that will kind of fundamentally impact the robbery part.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, if we don't secure the contract, we'll just take all of our forces and just ambush this barge.
That is an option. It's not...
Yeah. But if we're going to attempt to secure the contract, we should probably get some of the training done, have whoever's going to be posing as their captain be the one who is like coming forward as an example of the soldiers that we can put on offer.
So, training montage?
Training montage.
Let's get down to business.
Yeah, with Barney.
The moment.
So
Again.
God. So the way that I think we had it set up was that you were going to use hacks and some of Arch's people for the training as your mercenary company, essentially.
Yeah, because he already has like some beefy boys.
That's not what I have written down.
Is that not? Okay, did I have that wrong?
I have them split up as Hacks and Collar, and
okay.
then that we have Coil and Arch's crew doing the actual banditing. We might have changed it, and I didn't change it in my notes, but that's what I wrote down.
No, that makes sense too. So Collar has his crew is like sort of like con jobs, specializes in like impersonation and such.
Yeah,
so
I think we had him on the
plan
barge because some of his crew could act like somebody from his crew could act as like the face, essentially.
Yeah, having them train in more of like they're focusing on training in like the fighting arts and being able to play the part. And while Hax's people are just kind of polishing up to be more regimented, but they're going to be more of like the lower level like soldiers.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I also wanted to use Coil's group to steal some documents.
Yes, from the Chevalier to try and plant a letter and make it look like they did it.
You super did. And we should do that.
I do like that. So here's what I'm trying to decide with how that works. I think there are rules here.
Didn't you specifically raise up one of your stats high enough to be able to do that? or something.
I have where I can affect like my luck, basically, where I can luck into things.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been it.
Yeah, so essentially what I was trying to decide, so if you're sending other people to do things, then we don't necessarily have to play out that scene, but I do want to roll to like see how that goes.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to decide is what that role would even be. But I vaguely remember there being roles for things like this. It's probably going to be a standing role. Yeah, I think it would be probably a standing role, and you can advocate for me which one you think it is.
You know I want to go
I know
for
it's-
spirit.
I know you do. I'm gonna have to start remembering where the things are in
So if we
the book.
look at, like, 'cause each chapter or each stat has a chapter, right? And it tells you like what they can do.
Yeah, so I don't know if I think resources
Would
and
make sense.
influence make either resources or influence make the most sense, because there's either two options here, and probably for like sending a group of people in is probably more of an influence,
Mm-hmm.
because one of them is like rally troops to fight, and I think that one is kind of closest here. Resources is like bribing, buying silence of like witnesses, outfitting your crew for the exploits. So probably the one that makes the most sense here to come up with like
Is resources or not resources? Influence, because I'm.
Yeah, but I'm also debating whether an attribute may, because I guess we could look at it as like your actual like convincing them of doing this and like rallying them for something, or if it is like the actual planning, the intellectual like planning of the.
If it's the intellectual planning, I could advocate that ZaKeer has scouted out the grounds beforehand, so he can give them like proper. So here's the best entry point. Guard times are so and so.
Yeah, that could work too. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay. Could I? What is it? It's not invoke, but I'd like to use my profession spy and specialty hawk-eyed observer.
Yeah, so we're gonna build a dice pool. So there's the thing. I will show this to y'all. So we decided which attribute it's gonna be. It's gonna be wits. You get to grow your dice pool by 1 for each trait that supports the action. So you're using two Hawkeye Observer and
Just my spy trait.
Spy. Okay, yeah, both those work. You're working with spies directly. Do you have any burdens right now?
Let's see. Burdens. None that I see. I think I cleared mine last long rest.
Okay.
But I do have a feature called Talkative. So in the essence of fairness, would that reduce my dice pool? How chatty I am? Someone might have overheard the plan.
I would say it's less that you would have overheard, somebody might have overheard the plan, but more that people might remember you.
Yeah.
A little bit more, because
Okay.
you're, tools.
I've got bones.
I don't. So this is. I'm looking at this as this is the actual completion of the job by your crew.
Mhm.
So, we're taking away the. I'm shrinking the dice pool because in your setup for this, your negative trait might have impacted your like the wariness, like the watchfulness of the guards. They might be maybe a little more suspicious because of that. I'm not going to count the crew as a tool because you need them in order to have them go do this.
Right.
I don't know if you have anything else that might work here.
Nope. I'm rolling 66.
unless you have any circumstances that might help here. If there are 2 or more favorable conditions.
Not that I can see. Nope.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
What's the difficulty I'm shooting for?
I'm gonna say a 3.
I've got 1s with 2 nudges.
Okay, so 1 3 and 2 nudges.
I've got 2 1s and 3 nudges. 2 nudges, sorry. Pair
I
of 1s.
see. Oh yeah, it has to be pairs. That's right. I was like, I thought you just had to roll a 3. That is how it works, right? You have to get the pairs.
Yeah, you have to get the pairs. 6s are just nudges.
Okay. So I don't think. Is there anything you'd like to spend those nudges for, as far as reducing complications here?
Honestly, I just think that we couldn't manage to get anything. They were able to get in, but there were no documents with like the handwriting that I needed.
Okay. I have a more narratively interesting suggestion here.
By all means.
I'm going to give you the documents that they went in to get.
Oh boy.
And what I'm going to say is they were able to get the documents. They did have a scrape with some of the guards. So they didn't get in clean. And at least 2 of Coil's people were no, I'll say 1. 1 of Coil's people were killed on the way out. And they were not able to retrieve the body.
Oof. Yep. That's cool.
So, we can maybe play that out later if we want to, or see what it is, or we can kind of leave that there, but we can just, if we want to kind of just narrate in a macro level what happened. I think there is a little bit of concern that that they could be identified. So, you're kind of treading a thin line there.
Okay.
But you have your documents. Okay, so that's another step down. The training part of the first week or so. I don't think I'm gonna have. You have the resources for the training. I don't know if I necessarily think that we need to roll for that. I think this is the actual training of the soldiers is going smoothly. Barney does come to on the 2nd or 3rd day of the training, just come to oversee. Are you doing all this at house at Keep Laurent?
No, I imagine. I don't think we're not going all the way out to caves out in the hills or anything, but probably have rented a warehouse or something.
Ooh, that's good.
And keeps enough crates, mostly empty, lying around to look like there's something, but there just happens to be enough of a clear space over here, or empty shelves that we move out of the way that can be. So there's room.
Wasn't part of our cover too that we were starting to get into shipping anyways.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Okay. So we need a warehouse for.
Yeah, because essentially you have 2 separate things going on right now. You have Violette is, if I'm remembering correctly, House Laurent is getting into shipping, and that's why you bought the barge, because you're having this separate barge that's unaffiliated with the mercenary company that's going to be traveling upriver as part of the swap.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have this separate mercenary company that is unaffiliated with House Laurent that is going to be trying to make this deal.
Yeah.
Because I assume if they're going to be turning on them, and they're going to have just been hired by the venture house, that you don't want that connection, because they're going to know that something was wrong with this mercenary company, most likely, or they'll be suspicious of them at least. Okay, cool. So here's the scene that I think we can do here then. You're at this warehouse that Violette has secured as part of this front. You have the 20, I'm assuming, probably crew members that you're training as part of this small mercenary company. And they're currently running through drills with hacks. Are any of you assisting with the training?
I think ZaKeer is going to be kind of busy with his own thing for a while.
Okay.
Hadzel is probably there, actually. I don't know how much combat knowledge the keepers would keep on hand, but there's
You might
probably
have
at
some-
You're
least...
just studying, taking notes off to the side.
Yeah. But you also might have some knowledge of military tactics or something like that. Yeah.
Mhm. And certainly, given my expertise in nobles in the court, I would have at least something based on how they conduct their house guards and stuff.
Yeah. So Hax is there, and I guess Collar would be there too. And Hax is more involved. Collar is kind of watching and occasionally going up one of the soldiers and like hitting them, tapping them in the back with a cane or something, and telling them to straighten up and to keep to kind of get them in that regimented posture. And yeah, Barney comes by. I'm assuming, Mouse, you have escorted Barney over here. I assume you didn't just give him the location and we're like, hey, meet me here.
Hey, just show up. Yeah, that makes sense. Would still be sort of like a go-between.
Okay.
Because he was kind of he was convinced, but not 100%.
Mm-hmm.
From what I remember.
So I want to set up this scene as your last opportunity to convince Barney to be a part of this, to get your Haze Killers. So if do we want to just have Mouse and Hadzel on the scene? Does anyone else, or I guess ZaKeer isn't going to be there, but I don't know if Violette wants to get in on this too.
I mean, she'd probably show up at some point.
Okay.
See what's going on.
All right. Well, let's play this
Perched
out.
up on a shelf as Mistborn do.
Mm-hmm. Somewhere high up.
Yeah.
Just watching.
So yeah, let's play this out then. So through the doors, the side entrance of the warehouse, Mouse peeks her head in and brings in a couple of you have met him at this point. Barney, the barge salesman.
You've seen a salesman persona, but have you seen whatever his military background is?
Yeah.
All right, so we're just, we already sort of got started on the training, but I'm sure you could provide a little bit of helpful insider advice.
Yeah. I'll take a look over them. I'm not promising anything though. Depends on if any of them are even any use, I guess.
Yeah. Well, come on over. Maybe you should talk to and kind of is looking around doesn't know who is exactly leading the training, who she should pass this guy off to.
probably mostly, like I said, Hax and Caller are taking some. I think most of the initiative, and probably Hadzel throwing in a bit of advice every now and then. So maybe you take him over to Hax, and he kind of like listens a little bit as as Hax goes through, kind of like introducing the crew, and like Barney doesn't really seem too interested in getting to know any of them really. He just kind of like hand waves and says, I'll just watch from sit over here. You go through your thing, and I'll watch for a bit. And he moves over, just completely, I think, kind of distancing himself from everything going on here, not quite sold on it yet. And he sits over, and Hax kind of gives a look at your mouse and just shrugs, like, I don't know what to do with this guy. And they go back to the training.
Mass is gonna go over and sort of like grab Hadzel for a sec.
Yes, Mistress Mouse.
Right, so as you can kind of see, our friend Mr. Barney over there, I don't think he's 100% like convinced to help us out. I mean, he like at least came here and is checking stuff out, but maybe you got some ideas how we can further sort of convince him that we kind of need his help, because it's looking a little apathetic.
Indeed. Kind of glances over towards wherever Violette is lurking at the moment, but I do believe between myself and the mistress, we may be able to help persuade him, though we do, I believe, want to have a gentle touch with Mr. Barney if we are to secure his services.
Right.
Let's first see how things go with the observations, and we can adjust from there. So I think maybe let 20 minutes, half an hour go, and keep an eye on Barney, and if it seems like he's getting ready to, like, if he's already had enough after that, would step in sooner, but want to see how he is responding to what's going on first.
Yeah, I think he watches for a while. Yeah, maybe about the next 30-45 minutes or so, as they run through some drills and some stances, and maybe a little bit of sparring with some improvised weaponry, as you're still other than the swords and stuff that you've been able to, well, no, was it spears? You got the spears that you had acquired.
Spears and shields.
Yeah. Not wanting to use those. They have some simple lengths of wood that they're using as practice spears. So they kind of run through that for a bit, and he looks less than impressed by the whole situation. And I think after about that time, there are maybe a couple times where Collar goes over to try to make some small talk with him and gets exasperated and then walks away. And around the 45-minute mark, the old barge salesman stands and kind of moves over in your direction as you're near one of the doors and says, I think I've seen enough here. You got a fine group of folks here. I'm sure you'll do just fine. I don't really see what I could add to the situation, so I appreciate the offer, but
Master Barney, if you would wait a moment. I'm trying to remember if Hadzel was involved at all in the barge purchasing, or if there needs
feel
to
like
be
you
an
were there,
introduction
yeah.
here.
I feel like
yeah, I think Hadzel was there. I think Hadzel was the
business
one
stuff,
that
yeah.
noticed that he might be he noticed that he might be former military, and that's why Mouse went to convince him.
Gotcha. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, there were like 2 dueling canes above the hearth or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that.
Now, I understand perhaps your misgivings about what is happening here, and that is understandable. But these are fresh recruits, shall we say. Well, as I can tell in your barge business, you are a stickler for quality. And I should hope that that same desire for good, hard work would extend to other areas as well. And as you said, yes, perhaps what we have here is adequate, but I do wonder if perhaps would you not feel more satisfied if you were to ensure that these soldiers were up to a higher standard? It would not do for them to go out and perform poorly.
You know, I appreciate what you're saying. I think I'm not really understanding exactly what it is you want out of this whole thing.
Well, these men are training to become a new mercenary group for the purpose of protecting barges, to hire them out to other houses, to earn some coin, earn some business, build relationships between houses. But as I'm sure you know, there are those who wish to waylay the barges, and sometimes those with allomantic capabilities are involved. And so we would like to be able to offer a higher level of service to clients. And so we wish to be able to offer at least a handful of haze killers in the services provided.
Kind of sets back on his heels and crosses his arms. As you mentioned, haze killers, and yeah, I should have figured that was what this was for. You're pretty intuitive if you march me like that.
Well, those were some very high quality dueling canes you have displayed in your office.
Listen, it's been a long time since I used you. Since I've done anything like that. I'm not really interested in training any poor ska here to die in the games of some nobles anymore. So whoever it is you're working for, whatever it is you have planned, honestly, I don't know if I want any part of that.
Violette's gonna make herself known at this point. You think they're going to die because of your training?
Do you just like drop down from the ceiling,
Yeah.
or do you? Okay,
Like Batman.
he kind of like jolts back a little. Are you wearing like a mist cloak and stuff right now too?
She's definitely wearing a cloak.
Yeah.
Maybe
I assume
not
it's
the
daytime,
mist
so
cloak.
maybe
yeah,
not.
Probably
Yeah.
just like a black. The mist cloak seems a little dramatic in the
Yeah.
middle of the day.
What? Violette? Not dramatic? What?
Doing a different kind of dramatic today. You lied as you were leaving. You said you thought they were doing a fine job and you had nothing to teach them. You know that's not true. These men are training for a job, as Hadzel has said. For the money, for the glory, whatever their reasons are. They're going to do it with or without your help. So, you send them unprepared to this job and they die. Or you train them, give them a fighting chance, and maybe some of them come home.
Some of them being the key word, though. Listen.
They're going to go, whether you help us or not.
I trained young people, like some of those here, for years, to fight and die protecting nobles from nobles. I got out of that game. Either way, you're dying for nothing, so... What am I getting out of this situation?
The weight off your conscience that maybe some of them will come back. The ability to give some of them a fighting chance. And to give them the opportunities they want to be able to stick it to some of the noble houses in this city. That would see them dead.
Alright, I'm gonna have at least one of you roll charm.
I always forget who's good at what.
I'm good charm, I think.
Yeah, I'm only a 3.
I
Plus
have
you've got the
4.
medals for it.
Yeah, I have a 4.
This is gonna be a contested roll against his wits, which is also a 4.
Okay, I'm gonna use... I think Hadzel said we should use a gentle touch, and Violette said no, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I think I'm gonna use zinc, just purely based on the very last comment that I made.
Okay.
About sticking it to the man.
Trying to riot his sense of purpose, like his passion.
Yeah. And I got a 5
Okay.
in that.
Okay, so what, that brings you to a
It's
9. All right, I will roll.
I don't know if I have anything else.
Any traits that apply?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Underestimated infiltrator?
I don't know if that would necessarily apply here. He's already underestimating y'all a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll.
Dilettante doesn't make any sense. Nah, I don't.
No, because he doesn't know you're a noble.
No.
And I don't think that would help in this situation either.
I've got a pair of 5s.
All right, I got 2 6s and 2 1s. But that is a pair of 1s, so you succeed. Okay. I think even with his nudges, that doesn't... Yeah. He sighs. Thinks on it for a moment, looks back over to the group that's training, and he says, "How soon do you need him trained by?"
How soon can you have them trained?
Ideally, the train takes about 6 months. That's
Out
what
of-
they...
Sorry,
Oh, go
just
ahead.
out of character, what is our timeline on this?
I think you're in week 1 right now, and you were hoping to do it in about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
This is like the end of week 1.
Mhm.
He continues down and says, but that's with the full regiment. You give me 4 or 5, I pick them. I can have them ready in less than a month.
3 weeks.
All right. I guess it's better than nothing. But they have to put in the work, too. This isn't going to be easy.
I don't know that anything these men have ever done has been easy.
Right. You got any, well, I know it's a sensitive topic, but you got any mistings in your employ here for whatever house you're working for, or, I don't know, anyone that can help with the training? It typically helps with getting some hands-on experience.
Violette's
I
trying
must-
so hard not to smile.
Hadzel will interject here for a moment to say, I may not look it, but I myself am quite the fast learner. And I'm quick to pick things up and pass that knowledge on, so I may be able to assist as well.
You want to train as a haze killer.
I am a very quick study.
Well, I never knew a terrorist soldier, so I'm kind of interested to see how that turns out.
I do believe that my taller stature might lend itself to some advantages in that sort of combat.
Also going to be a taller target. But, hey, we'll see how it goes. All right.
I will assist as well.
You can... To train?
Said you needed assistance.
Yeah, I mean, I need mistings. I need people who can push, pull. Metals, typically.
Yes, I'm aware. Yes, I can do this thing. Am I confusing you?
All right, that makes it easier. What can you do?
Thinks about it. Do I lie?
He, he might be more inclined to help if he knows you're a full Mistborn.
I was thinking.
But also, I was thinking, like, do any of the crews have any mistings, or are they all just Ska?
I don't know if we know because I
Uh,
don't think we talked with any of the.
None of which that have revealed themselves, but
Yeah.
people typically play that pretty close to the chest when it's
Yeah.
with this sort of stuff. I know. Did Violette reveal that she was a Mistborn to them? Or I don't think she did. But
no, she told them who she was. But
One
Yeah,
of them
but it
knows
was-
you were doing emotional allomancy.
yeah, the Arch
Arch, yep.
knows that I was
Yeah.
burning one of the.
Zinc, I think
It was zinc, probably.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna lie. Pushing, mostly.
All right. That's the best case scenario, I think. Emotional allomancy is... Well, that can be dangerous too, but I can talk him through some of the drills to kind of help there. Some
You
of them
can
might
train against
buckle if
that.
they experience. Yeah, you can train against pretty much anything. There's certain mental exercises that we use to prepare. You know, nothing's like get into a fight and suddenly you don't feel like fighting anymore.
I may have a friend who can help with that.
Bring him along. Yeah. So I'll need you there and your friend and anyone else who can help. Like I said, more experience they have with that thing, those sort of things firsthand, better off they'll be. I'll pick the other four. You, Hadzel, right?
Yes.
All right. First thing in the morning, here. We'll talk about my pay later. And he heads over to the group that's training and kind of walks through the line and starts picks out a couple from the lineup, pulls them over and begins to talk to them, and some of them nod and some of them look a little nervous, and after he talks through, unless anyone else has any other conversations with them, he'll leave.
Aside to Violette, and I mean, Mouse is still there to overhear, but we probably should attempt to procure the services of other mistings. I'm sure there are some in the crew, but they won't be particularly inclined to tell us about that.
No. I'm sure if there's a right place, we can find someone.
Kind of looking over at Mouse. We may be in need of your services and connections again.
Yeah, I mean, people aren't going to be super forthcoming about stuff like that. I can sniff around and see who I can find, but it's going to be hard to get loyalty on some things unless we start telling people what we're up to.
Yes, well, perhaps I could try and find anyone else from Master Sasha's house survived. Because, well, Master Sasha himself does not have abilities. There were some in his house who did. Whether or not they survived or were scouted is another question entirely.
Yeah, maybe ZaKeer knows too.
Alright. Do we trust him? Bounty.
I mean, I noticed you didn't reveal the whole suite of your abilities, so it sounds like you don't trust him that much, but we also haven't given him very much reason to trust us.
I wanted to wait until I was sure his training was going to be worth what we think it is.
Yeah.
But I meant what I said. I want to give them a fair shot.
Yeah.
We'll just have to hope you never find yourself on the receiving end of their training.
If they are paid well enough, hopefully not. Right.
Okay. The training commences. Before we get into the montage of that, ZaKeer, is there anything you're up to?
Probably just sitting in an office at the keep. There's just pieces of no, there wouldn't be parchment wood there. It'd be like pieces of scrap iron that he's been like trying to write down.
They have paper.
They have paper, right? Yeah, there's just
Yeah.
bunches of paper like around him, and he's just trying to do like the basic like curvatures of like script for this letter, just going back and forth.
Okay. So trying to work on like forging the documents you need.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're working on that. So, and here's what I want to clarify before we get into the montage. Are you trying to convince the other crews to reveal some of their mistings in order to help with the training, or is Violette going to have somebody else stand there and pretend to be another misting while she does all of the allomancy?
That's what I was gonna do. Or I was gonna do some of the
Slam.
training and then leave and come back in a different outfit
Do the rest
and
of
do the
it.
rest of it.
Get Sasha to stand there pretending he's.
I'm sure he would do it.
Motherfucker has enough strength to be burning pewter. Let's do it.
I'm sure he would do it in such a way that would draw much attention away from me.
So passing Sasha off so you're passing yourself off as a coin shot. He's and you're passing him off as what, a
Probably
rider,
a
a soother?
soother.
He would
I'm
probably
trying to
explain.
play off of Violette's trying to essentially play off of what Barney has already said. So like he said he needs somebody that can push, so that's what she said she could do. And he said, like, you know, it's concerning when like you're in the middle of a fight and suddenly you don't want to fight anymore. So like I think she's just trying to pull from that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things I think he would explain are the risks of like having emotional allomancers in a battle situation. Is either one, them like draining your will to fight because you got to get into your like battle spirit and get your adrenaline up and stuff, and kind of having suddenly being very calm in the middle of a battle is can be pretty bad if it takes away all of your will to fight. Whereas riders can increase fear and anxiety and make you very nervous in a battle situation, which could also cause problems there. So
That's also pretty fun. What do you guys think?
I like the idea of Sasha doing a DBZ scream to like fucking demoralize people in battle. It's that
So he'd be soothing them. Making
Yeah,
well, yeah.
I think if he explains it,
Screaming.
just
Soothing
yelling.
screams.
Soothing screams. I think if he pitches it that way, Violette would probably go for riding, because I think she's probably more concerned about like the fear and anxiety that might come from, I don't know, them like working with people in other crews that they don't necessarily trust, and like not having pulled off a job this big before, and you know, the like intensity of the training sort of belying that this is gonna be a pretty big deal, so don't fuck it up.
yeah.
Or you'll die.
Okay, that works. Yeah, I think maybe we can, if you want to push it, we can push it to a scene and maybe roll for it. But if you just initially go to some of the other crew leaders and like, hey, you have any mistings that might be able to help with the training? I think most of them are just like, no, I don't even know what that is, and very clearly just not like trying to feign ignorance on that.
How would
So-
Arch handle that, though, since we know that they know that Violette is at least a misting? Just being like, we are trying to train up some haze killers to increase the chances of success of this job.
Yeah, there's no way he doesn't know what those are.
Yeah, we could play it. Arch probably doesn't handle it that way, but if you want to talk to Arch about it, we can. Because Arch knows about mistings. You want to talk to him and see if he has any intel?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's at least an option that we can and should explore rather than just sending poor Mouse out to find
Some
everyone.
random dudes.
Yeah. That's probably more interesting, too, because it gets us more interaction with the other crew leaders.
Yeah, I like your crew leaders. They're great. Let's talk to them more.
Okay, let's do a scene with Arch then. Maybe this is a little bit into the training, and you've gotten yeah, okay, this is what we'll do. So we'll put everybody in the scene because I want to have everyone together and a chance to get a hand on the ball, if they need to. So unless you specifically don't want to be in the scene for any reason, but we'll say this is after a full day's training. Hax is still doing his thing, training the soldiers that are left along with Collar. They're kind of getting into shape here. I think Coil has shown up with some uniforms and some other credentials and stuff that not really sure where they came from, but ignore some of the bloodstains and hands them off and starts giving some stuff out to drops them all off in some sacks and hangs around a bit. You have Arch is there as well, kind of watching, kind of seeing where things are coming along, since wants to have a full idea of how the training is going, kind of where things are at. I think all the crew leaders are staying pretty involved because they want to make sure this is going to work, and they're used to being in control of the plans and stuff that they do. And Barney is currently leading the small group of Haze Killers Haze Killer trainees and Hadzel in some drills, using their shields to block incoming metals. And I think basically what he does is probably emphasizes that he can use. He's mentions the being useful that you're a coin shot, Violette, because he can just position you and also train them for if they're dealing with lurchers as well. So basically just has them face towards you and deflecting incoming coins and bits of metal, and then basically has them turn around and has you push against some of the metals that are on them, other coins that might be lodged in their shields, things like that, to try to get them used to that rhythm and flow, in the middle of also being kind of in doing their sparring. And you have Sasha is there too, pretend I may be overacting a little bit and trying to and doing his emotional allomancy,
Kind of banking on that.
while you're rioting, and he's standing there just big beefy Noel, and just finger to temple, acting like he's concentrating really hard as you're rioting their emotions.
Yes.
And yeah, Arch is currently observing all of this, and with kind of a wry grin as he's watching the Haze Killer training. And eventually Barney dismisses the training to the trainees to take their break. All right, good job, everyone. Violette, thanks for your help. Sasha, do you need some wine or something? You look like you got a headache. Sasha's, no, I'm fine. I just need, well, actually, now that you mentioned wine, I'll maybe grab some, and kind of moves over to to go get a drink.
He's been working so hard. That guy needs to take breaks sometimes.
This emotional allomancy can be very draining on you, and
I love it.
I will also say Hadzel has been like using his copper mines to take in
Yeah.
as much of the training as he can.
Yeah, how do you think Hadzel's faring in like the more physical elements of the training?
I mean, if he needs to, he will occasionally tap pewter himself to keep up, but certainly isn't doing, full Hulk mode or anything for this. But
Yeah. I was curious, is he trying to sort of focus on staying like actually not relying on the ferrochemy too much
Yeah.
to actually train? Okay. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, if anything, it's mostly the copper mines that's being used in the training to retain this and be like, well, okay, if we need to do more training or in the future, Hadzel can train haze killers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hadzel's haze killers.
Hadzel's
Trademark
haze
it.
killers. Okay, cool. So you're probably pretty tired then at the end of that. At the end of the day, maybe having to tap some of your other metal mines to give a little boost of
can certainly tap
stamina.
wakefulness.
Yeah.
Let me just remember what all of them do. No. But yeah, okay.
Okay, so who's approaching Arch for this conversation?
I've got an idea.
Okay.
ZaKeer has a clipboard out, just writing down things that they are going to need for this heist. Approaching Arch. Listen, Arch. I'm going to need to know how many mistings we have in our ranks so that we can prepare the appropriate vials for them.
He raises an eyebrow as he looks at you and...
Or am I misremembering how the metals work in this?
Yeah, I mean, they would need vials of their chosen metal.
Yeah. No, you are correct in that. I think he's he's reacting to sort of the brazenness of just coming right up and asking for that information. And says, now, why do you think I would know something like that?
Thieving crew's got to have some sort of misting in their populace.
Maybe. They're not very common. Well, 1 in 100, something like that.
Well, between you and me, it could be kept confidential. Or I will keep it confidential if you give me a guesstimate of who you think is in your ranks. We need everyone properly equipped for this job.
That's tough. I mean, if there happen to be mistings within any of the crews here, I'd imagine they'd want to keep that information pretty, well, secret. They've been getting their own metals this long. Why do you need to supply it?
Show of good faith.
But there is a cost there. Secrets are, well, worth as much or more than coin.
True. If you were to give me a base number in boxings of what you need, fine. So be it. I just want to make sure this job goes smoothly.
All right. How about this? You tell me what you need the ATM for. And I'll tell you what I know.
I'd like to reconvene with you at some other time. That is not my directive to tell you.
All right. Well, you know where to find me.
Checks off Arch's name on the clipboard, walks away. He will relay this information to everyone else if you wish to find out Arch's numbers.
We could do a scene of y'all talking through that if you want.
And that's the nitty-gritty of it.
Well, it's understandable, given that this is our first jobs working with these crews, that they would be reticent to share that knowledge with us. However, I think either at the very least, providing boxing so that they might supply themselves is a good show of faith to begin with. Do not know yet, again, given that this is our first job with them, whether we should be forthcoming with our motives, if that is worth learning what listings they might or might not have on their crews.
We could always use this job if it's successful as a jumping off point. Build a rapport with them slowly.
Precisely.
Yeah, and I mean, don't think we should underestimate our ultimate goal of, we're planning to take down a whole nother house. I feel like there'd be a lot of Scott who'd get on board with that pretty readily.
I agree. And especially Arch knows who I am. They know they are working for a noble house. And they know that my house at least has mistings of some kind. It's not a foul reach for him to assume there is a Mistborn in my line somewhere. I would have thought he would already put that together.
Yeah, but maybe you could. I don't know, as we're sort of, like you're saying, ZaKeer, we're kind of trying to build these relationships and this rapport. I mean, that is a pretty big playing card to sort of offer up. Like, yeah, he could probably figure it out, but if he sees that you're willingly giving him that information, that's something. Somebody's got to trust first.
The unfortunate part of trust.
Perhaps this is the conservative option as I see it. We see how this job goes, and then perhaps tell them that this was merely the first step in taking down one of the greater houses, and then see how they respond to that. And if the job goes smoothly, perhaps they will be on board to continue assisting, but if things go less smoothly, or we determine that working with one or more of the crews is untenable, by not sharing that information, we will save ourselves some potential risks down the line.
That is also going to mean we are without knowledge of or any control over any mistings they might have.
Fair
So
point.
we would be relying on myself and Mouse. Which we've done
Yeah.
before.
Well, perhaps if it would mean having to take less time in my haze killing training, but if I were to attempt to study genealogies, perhaps I could try to track down some bastards and who may or may not have misting powers, given what I know of the noble genealogies.
Well, then
And
we
just
could
hold a
hire some.
guess?
Huh?
At least determine who may have the potential for it.
If anyone's going to make the best guess, it's Hadzel. Then we could hire them directly. They would work for me.
Seems like a lot of work, but you do kind of like it.
So he's becoming a
Which
haze
has
killer,
its
but Hadzel has many more hours in his days than the rest of us.
I will just need to sleep for about a month once the job is complete.
I think I can allow that. Seems only fair. Perhaps once this job is complete, we will all take a vacation.
We may need to, depending on how the job finishes.
This is
Forced
Okay.
vacation.
possibility I did not consider, but you're right. We may need to leave town for a bit. Or forever.
Oh dear.
Ah,
Making overthrowing a noble house very difficult.
Just
well,
bit.
you can change your face to look like someone else.
But I'd much prefer staying with everyone here. A lone conjurer out in the wild is a bit. It's hard to get schemes and machinations off the ground, at the very least.
I like this plan of finding them ourselves. Adel, I don't want to take you away from the many, many things you are already doing. But if you think you have the time, perhaps we can find a few, make them a generous offer of employment. They could continue working for us after this.
You're just getting more and more people working for you, Violette.
Oh. I suppose that's the goal.
So, if I understand the plan here,
The thing you have to say every time we come up with some absolute bullshit.
Just
Hadzel.
clarify.
So you're not going to tell Arch right away. Okay. You are going to. Hadzel is going to study the genealogies and attempt to suss out who could potentially be mistings in this group based on their family history. Okay. And then whoever you find, this is specifically within, you're limiting that within the group of the crew that you currently have working for you. Okay. That is a daunting task, but not impossible.
I'm gonna use all of my bronze probably to burn the midnight oil.
Yeah, well, because there's a couple of things I think are gonna, like, just so y'all understand my rationale here, the difficulty of this being you have to know, obviously finding out the names of everyone that's in the crew, knowing who their parents are, finding out even if any of them do know, tracing that back to some sort of noble bloodline is going to be difficult, because a lot of times that sort of, like, those sorts of affairs and stuff would not be documented because they're illegal under the Lord Ruler. So it might be a lot of looking at like physical characteristics, comparing this to other nobles, tracking their patterns. So it's going to be a little bit of guesswork. So you can do this. I'm going to put this at a... I was debating whether this is a nearly impossible task or a very hard task.
I mean, at the very least, 2 of my traits will lend themselves to this.
Okay. I think I will put this at very hard.
Okay.
So that's a 4 that you're going to need. So you're going to, I imagine, wits.
Wait,
is
what
where we're
number is
starting.
impossible?
5.
Oh, okay, 5. That makes sense.
Because that's the highest you can roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because 6 counts as nudges.
Yeah. So we'll go with a 4. So I assume you're doing wits for this as your attribute.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 4 to start. My drive is acquire secret knowledge.
Okay.
And I am a genealogist, noble court expert as my specialty.
Okay.
So that's 2 more there. Like I said, I could burn bronze so that I can spend more time in the day to do this.
Yeah.
Just throw more labor hours into it.
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
some copper to, to try and see if there's any knowledge in there of, like you said, things that weren't, in the official records, but perhaps I picked up in my time at, balls and stuff. And
Yeah. I think you could make a justification for either one of those, so that's up to you, whichever one you want to use.
I have to remember the rules for, I think if I use like just the math in terms of how many charges I would have to use, because between the 2 of those, I'm pretty sure I can get my pool up to 10.
Okay. And if it goes above 10, then you can get additional free nudges from that too.
Just spend all, empty my metal mines. But no.
Or no,
I'm limited by my rating in that.
Yeah. So what's your rating in?
Bronze is 3, copper is also 3.
Okay. So either way, you're adding 3 to your pool.
Now, could I do 3 from each, or?
No, I think I'm going to limit it to just the one that you're leaning on the most here.
Okay. I think in this case it will be bronze, because I was saying, doing this would take time away from the haze killing training, but also want to keep up with that. So
yeah, since you're specifically trying to do this while avoiding having to lose out on your haze killing.
Okay, so let me get to.
I have like a quick interjection.
Sure.
Okay, so the plan was to the ideas are getting this roll to potentially spot these mistakes, and then be like, hey, we know you might be a missing, you should come work for us.
Yes, my role is just to identify those people. It's gonna have to be something else to recruit them.
I feel like this is not gonna turn out well. As someone
So,
I don't know, of just somebody being like, okay, this is a secret, and then somebody coming out of the blue and being like, hey, we know you're secret, you should come work for us. How is that not going to feel like a threat?
So I think the idea I had for how to recruit them is have Violette probably start doing allomancy in opposition to what they do, of trying to catch them having to use their allomancy to do something during training. Oh no, one of the coins went wide.
So we're going to entrap them.
Kind of.
Okay, keep going though.
I mean, it's less of a I know you're secret, you work for us now, but just being, God, I do think it would still be useful for our intents and purposes to at least identify who may be a misting. Figuring out how to recruit them is going to be a whole other thing.
Yeah, a different story. Yeah. So yeah, we can go with this and then decide what we want to do with this information.
Yeah, that's true. Like we don't have
after.
to immediately go off
Yeah.
of. But I was just
Yeah.
thinking about it more and being like, hey, wait a minute.
You make a very good point, though, that it is daunting, but it does give you at least something to work off of.
Mhm.
Again,
Yeah.
not what I thought we were going to get up to this session. But I do like this.
Okay, so
Surprise
let's see.
genealogy when you least
So-
expect it.
Yep. So tapping a metal mine, I get up to 9 in my pool. And I'm trying to think if there's anything I can do to get it up to 10.
Don't you have a specialty or a trait?
That's
or no, you
already
did
in
your
there.
trait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's 2 of them in the pool there.
Yeah, because I don't think the circumstances really work for or against you. I mean, like, the circumstances kind of cancel each other out. You're at a lack of time.
Yeah.
It is pretty much what you've got going on here. People are being secretive, but you do have the ability to observe them over a significant period of time, and you've got people to help you. So either way, it's kind of a wash.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we'll just have to hope that a pool of 9 is enough to get 2 4s.
let's hope so.
Or a whole bunch of 6s. I'm just... I just looked at my destiny, and no, I don't think I can use the destiny to help with the dice pool.
I don't think so.
Just one of the bits in there is prove once and for all that there's no difference between Ska and Noble.
Yeah, I don't think destiny is that's more of a narrative motivation than it is something you. And you also get improvements or XP for
I
it.
did just see the secrets known section, and I imagine that's going to be very full depending on how this roll goes. But okay, I think that's it. So I'm gonna just hit roll now.
All right.
That's a lot of 5s.
Jeez, that is a lot of 5s.
No 6s, but that's a lot of 5s.
That's like all 4s and 5. You got 1 3 and then
Mhm.
4s and 5s. Well, you succeed. Jeez.
Hadzel's good at his job.
I could
Yep.
have said, at least I can sleep well tonight, knowing I could have set this at a 5, and it
Yeah.
wouldn't have made a difference. Okay. No nudges, though. Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess you technically get 1 nudge because you succeeded above the thing, so.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which maybe that means at least one of the mistings, like we catch them doing it very obviously, and so it's just like, okay, makes it easier for us to approach them in terms of
The fucking coin shot, just like bouncing a metal ball against the wall. Pew 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 pew.
So here's what you find out. You kind of trace it back, and I think a lot of this ends up being kind of a little bit of like word of mouth too. Getting some information based on like kind of collecting things that maybe Mouse or Violette or ZaKeer have gathered over their time spending time with the crew, and there are a couple that are very kind of secretive of who their family is, or that they only really recognize like one of their parents. They don't talk about one of their other ones. You do a little bit of tracing, and I'd say you come up with like a small collection of names that are potential hopefuls, people that could have noble blood and be potentially mistings. But with your nudge, since you got a 5, I will say that there's one that sort of jumps out at you. One member of the crew that you get a little more backstory on. Speaking to some people around, they mentioned that this person has been around for a while, but they know that they've been heavily involved in some other ska thieving crews, and they have mentioned a couple of times over drinks having a really like high detest for like the nobility, and a lot of the suspicion kind of around that is that they had some sort of no important noble parent. And you actually do a little bit of tracing, and you realize that, or from your genealogy, kind of just studying some different traits, that this person could possibly, with like a high likelihood, be a bastard child of the former head or of the house Alariel. And you realize this when you're looking in to Arch.
I want to say, for drama's sake, comes to that realization at like 2 a.m. one night as we're back at Keep Laurent, and just go like barging into Violette's room in the middle of the night, like late enough that she has probably come back from her Mistborn prowling and was like actually trying to sleep. And Hadzel just comes in like he's had like 3 cups of coffee with all the bronze he's burning or tapping. This is Violette.
Is someone dying?
No, but I do believe I have found something very interesting about one of our colleagues.
Okay.
I believe it is quite probable that Master Arch is the bastard of the former head of House Ilaria.
Don't say.
And given what others have said about their disdain for the nobility, I do believe it may be worth bringing them into our grander plans.
Okay. We can discuss it further in the morning.
Look, since he's like, it's probably just beginning to be sunrise at this point. Yes, well, I will see you in about an hour then.
Just sort of rolls back over it.
And with that information being revealed, that's where we're going to take our break. So, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back in a few minutes to continue our session and see what the crew decides to do with this information that they have now discovered. So stretch your legs, get some water, eat a snack, whatever you need to do, and we will see you here very shortly. So stay tuned. Welcome back, Internet. Thanks for hanging out with us while we took our break. We're going to go ahead and jump back into the game here, as we've had some important reveals and more secrets and information being gathered. So I guess the question is for Hadzel and Violette, now that you know this, what is the next step?
I think, because let's kind of assume that we had that conversation about how would we recruit people to begin with in character at some point. Sure. And so it's like, okay, going off those reasonable misgivings that I think suggested is like that ZaKeer told us about what Arch was asking about, and I think that we decided, yes, that's fair, and tell them that like this is to help fund going against House Ilariel, and first just see what the reaction is, and then perhaps can drop the research bomb that Hadzel figured out.
Okay.
I'm just so worried about it coming off so blackmail-y.
So why don't you want to jump into a scene then with the five of you where Hadzel hasn't revealed the information about Arch yet, but is proposing the idea of bringing Arch into the loop. Is that what you're saying?
I guess, yeah, we can do that, because certainly already told Violette that and suggested bring him into the loop, but we should run it by the rest of the crew first.
Okay, let's say this is in the war room, the planning room, back at
Yes.
House
The kitchen?
Laurent. The kitchen.
In the war room. Kitchen war room.
We
combo.
call it the war room.
We call it the war room. It's code.
Get
Okay.
the provisions ready.
So, Hadzel and I have an idea.
All right.
We want to speak to Ouch and loop him in on the bigger stakes.
All right. I take it you figure something out, Hadzel, where you're doing your
Yes, I
research.
have a very strong suspicion that due to personal reasons, Arch is not a fan of House Ilario, and so may be more agreeable to our cause in aiding us if he were aware that this job is to secure funding to move against House Ilario.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is the play that you want to do? I'm all for it.
And well,
How are
I
you
believe
gonna approach him though?
that's fair, given that the points you previously raised about how we might approach potential mistings in the crews that we're working with. I believe it is fair that you know that, well, I do believe Arch to be the bastard of the former head of House Ilario. However, I do not intend for us to approach him so blatantly like that. I believe it could potentially be enough to simply follow up with his request to ZaKeer to know why we need the ATM, and if we tell him it's for funding to attack House Ilaria, that should hopefully be enough for him to extend a modicum of trust our way.
And if it isn't, I have an idea.
Please elaborate.
I believe Ouch, as many in his line of work do, knows more than he's letting on. He approached me after our initial meeting and made it clear that he is aware that I was able to use some form of emotional allomancy. He knows this. He has also been a part of this training of his troops, of his crew, and has been around to see us training the Haze Killers. What I mean to say is, he has seen me burn more than one type of metal. And there is no way he didn't clock that. So, knowing this, knowing that he probably already knows what is going on, if I were to offer up that information, being a Mistborn, as another reason for us wanting the ATM, perhaps he will see that as a sign of faith, that we trust him with this, and will be more forthcoming about his own abilities, should he have them.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. I think you should definitely lead with that and
So it does not
just
come
avoid
across
mentioning. Yeah.
so much as we know this about you and we are blackmailing you, but
Yeah.
I am
it's not a good
confiding
look.
in you this information, knowing perhaps that you might have more than you are letting on, a more personal connection to this than maybe he is initially willing to give.
All right. Well, yeah, and if it means we get somebody else on our crew that we can trust, I say we go for it.
Convince Sarge to join our side. Operation Go.
If we have his trust, we will have the trust of his crew. And I like the idea of that very much.
Yeah. So you think we should we all talk to him, or just you, Violette, or how you guys want to handle that part?
I think if all of us go up to talk to him, it would seem more of a coercion than anything.
Plus,
We
we should be aware of how this may appear to the other crew leaders, so would be better to perhaps have the rest of us talk to some of them, about something relatively inconsequential while one of us speaks to Arch about this matter.
All right.
Okay.
But
So-
who is going to talk to Arch?
Not it.
Goes.
I am happy to take this on. Unless you would rather do it yourself, mistress.
I'm wondering about the impact of it coming directly from me.
If you are to share your abilities, then it should be you.
Yeah.
I still believe
Okay.
we should start with simply telling him about the larger motives and see where that gets us.
I agree. Okay. I feel good about this.
Okay. Since we're all feeling good about it.
It's one of us
Well,
is
when you
feeling
say
good
it
about
like
it.
that,
Well then.
One of us feels extremely good about this plan.
I'm holding back what could possibly go wrong, so.
Oh no! Don't you dare say it, knock on wood.
Knock, 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 knock.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's jump into it. Maybe this is like a little bit further into the training, like the next week, where like everything's in full swing. I don't want to pass too much time because I know y'all still have a couple more things that you need to do as far as securing the contracts. But I also know that you didn't want to go to secure the contracts until you were done with or at least got far enough in the training, right? Okay. So yeah, we'll say this is maybe you are like maybe 2.5 weeks in. at this point of your training. And because Hadzel took a lot of time to get all this information, that was a lot of sleepless nights trying to get all that together.
Yeah,
everything's
Hadzel's just
coming
passed out somewhere now.
along.
And I had a full bronze medal mind, and I don't know that this is actually important, but in terms of the roll, I technically only had to drain 3 charges from it.
How many can go in a thing?
100.
Oh, dang. All right. Well, you're
But,
fine.
Yeah, I mean, we can
Hadzel
say
like
that
finished all that work and then yawned once and was like, "I'm good."
It's like, all right,
I
I'm
think we
fine now.
should maybe impact it a little bit more narratively since that would have taken time. So
Yeah.
let's maybe
I mean, I can
knock.
do like a few multiples of 3 or something out of it.
Yeah, maybe like 12 overall or something.
Sure.
Okay. Let's do that. Compensating for like the entire week that you were working on this for. So training is
Sorry, can I ask a question?
always yes.
Yay. So are we doing the thing? I think it was Alex that said it. Are we doing the thing where I'm gonna go talk to Arch, and then the other 3 of you are each gonna go talk to one of the other? I just almost said the words cult leaders, crew leaders, the other leaders of the crime cults.
We're in a cult now.
Because I desperately need to know who's gonna go talk to who. And
I don't
who
know
gets
if
left.
it necessarily needs to be like simultaneously coordinated, but like over the course of a day or some amount of time, just so,
So, like,
it's not just
somebody
like, huh, you've all been talking to Arch, huh? What's going on there?
What's going on there?
I just want to know who gets stuck talking to Coil.
Probably ZaKeer.
Yeah, that makes You guys already have that rapport of being
Crime
spies
bond.
together. Yeah, crime bonding.
Crime bond.
Yeah, you did get to establish a bit of a rapport with Coil for previously, so I think that fits. It's okay. So each of you are going to talk to one of the other crew leaders while Violette talks to over the course
of like a week.
of that week. Okay, we can go. Maybe Arch is the last person
Just,
you've
like,
approached. in
Have
this.
them like
Sort of
seen
like the smoke
visibly.
screen of
And is the goal here trying to talk to them to convince them of to ask about any mistings they have, or just to
It can be the real motive behind it is just to make sure it doesn't look like that we're singling out Arch.
Okay. I was just debating whether there needed to be a role or if you're just going to them to talk.
If anything, ZaKeer is approaching Qual and saying, by the way, if you need to expense boxings for vials, here's like a form. Get that back to me by the end of
Fill
the
out
week.
the form.
Fill your expense form.
Yeah, you're-
and-
We need copper for
be
Jerry,
reimbursed.
and bronze for.
Oh,
They don't need
Issue
to put
your
names
company
in.
credit card.
yeah, company
Yeah.
card.
God, this is all too real for me.
Uh-oh.
A black steel card.
Ooh.
And if you get 10 stamps in it, you get a free vial.
You get a free bay wrap.
Okay, so ZaKeer talks to Coil. Who does Mouse approach? I don't know if we need to roll or play anything out, but I just want to know what the who talks to who for rapport's sake.
I think it'd be funny if I went and talked to Collar.
Collar, and then Hadzel talks to
The fanciest lab.
Hack.
Yeah, the fancy lad.
Okay. Okay. Good. And actually, that makes sense because Hadzel's probably spent the most time with Hacks at this point.
That's what I was also thinking.
Because doing some of the training stuff.
Mhm.
So, okay. If there's nothing specifically that we necessarily want to get, if the most interesting thing here is the conversation that we're getting about with Arch, then I won't do a bunch of rolls and a bunch of stuff going on there, unless y'all want to roll to see if you get anything out of those conversations.
Yeah, I mean, I think at least similar to what ZaKeer is attempting with Coil, I would speak with Hacks and be like, I have picked up a fair bit from Barney's haze killing training, and I know he is much more exacting in his proteges, but if there are others you know of who might be suitable to being a haze killer, could perhaps work with them in the future, not necessarily on this job, but if he knows of anyone, could offer a little bit here and there while we're training.
You keep working with us in the future, you get some extra haze killers on your squad.
Here's what I
I
want to do.
like that.
I'm gonna have you each roll charm for your, because here's what I want to do.
okay.
All of you will roll charm, and I'm gonna see based on how well you roll your rapport level with that NPC.
Ooh, I like it. Okay. The charm.
So
Oh yeah, actually pretty good charm. I forgot about that.
now, is this going to be like an actual, we still have to get pairs on this, or is this kind of a loosey-goosey roll?
Lucy.
No, this is gonna be yeah, it's gonna be based on pairs. So the
Okay.
difficulty of I'm basically just gonna
I have an idea.
it will.
Okay.
Here you
So
go.
individual standing with.
Everybody rolls the highest pair you get is your level of rapport, 1 through 6.
Oh.
No, well, that's kind of what
I'm
I'm
making
so the
up new
difficulty.
rules.
I'm not setting a static difficulty, but it's I'm gonna see how well whatever challenge rating you succeed at is gonna be kind of see how well that conversation goes.
Sure, just in terms of like what traits or metals I might make use of to build my pool here.
That's up to you. Whatever you think might be the most applicable.
Probably
for this.
gonna use some zinc for charm rolls and be
Okay.
quick-witted about the conversation.
I feel like
Alright.
my disheveled appearance might ding me in a conversation with Mr. Fancy Lad, potentially.
Yeah, specifically with him.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna remove 1 die for that.
All right. I'll trust y'all to build and take away. Yeah, add any traits you think might apply. Take away for any that work against you. Nobody has any burdens. Tools. I can't think of any that would necessarily apply to the socials.
I'm just debating if I should give myself my genealogist thing here. I'm giving myself acquire secret knowledge, but since this is a much more casual, I don't know if the whole research thing is gonna count here.
Character question as well after you're finished with Alex.
Okay. The genealogy thing work here. I mean, I guess that maybe I could consider that a Here's what I'll do. It'll work out the same way. I don't know if your genealogist trait, but the research you've done and looking into the crew members and knowing more about them, I think is a favorable condition, as well as having trained with hacks, I think is another one.
Sure.
So you'll get a die for 2 favorable conditions.
Works for me.
Okay, and Alex, RJ, you had a question.
Would Coil appreciate ZaKeer's bluntness?
You have worked with Coil before. I was gonna be like, you tell me where you're blunt, I'm gonna tell you whether it works for or against you. But I think Coil seems pretty like to the point. Works in a lot of information gathering, and having people double talk can be tiresome.
Yep. Like, hey, this is what we got to do. All right, bye.
Yeah. All right.
Everybody has so many in yours. I have 5, I think, in my pool.
I've got 5.
All right.
3 charm, 1 drive, 1 from the circumstances, and then 3 from tapping the metal.
I forgot you're adding the metal. Okay.
Yep. I'm trying to think what my smallest pool has been at this point, because I can pretty much always tap a metal for at least 3.
Yeah.
I think my drive would apply here as well to fulfill this contract and return back to the homeland, right? Doing this job would expedite that.
I don't know if that's directly applicable here. because like that's pretty attenuated
Broad.
from what's
Yeah.
from what's actually going on. Otherwise, it's like everything that's gonna happen, you're
Everything.
gonna put that in.
I might have to think about a new drive and make it a bit more specific.
Yeah,
To make it a bit.
that's fair. Yeah.
useful.
Okay, let's go ahead and roll with the stuff you have, and then we'll get to the conversation with Arch.
Pair of threes.
Double
Okay.
two.
Nice.
Got some 3s and 2 nudges.
All right. So threes, and then paired 2s. Overall, not bad. I think probably Hadzel comes out with the closest rapport towards Hacks, but that makes sense narratively. You have spent a lot of time together. He sees you doing your training as a haze killer, respects that, and also wants to get in on some of that information stuff. So you coming to him like saying that you're willing to do this, I think he's very receptive to it, and maybe make some plans that once you've completed your training, maybe passing some things along and seeing if you can work something else out there. So yeah, I think he respects you. Not like best friends, but there's a mutual respect there. Same thing with Mouse and Coil. I'm trying to figure out how that played out.
How this works. Oh,
I
dear.
think it's more of like, it's probably a little patronizing. It's probably more of like,
Oh, okay.
you come to him like, as you know, Mouse isn't really talky and doesn't dress like very eloquently and stuff, but I think there's like
But like maybe would have like tried to clean up like a little bit, like knowing like okay, maybe would have tried, but like still isn't that good, not at his level.
Yeah, like maybe it makes an effort.
Violette will give you clothes if you ask. She has so many. She'll just be like, yeah, here, wear them.
But I think seeing you make that effort, and also respecting you as an informant, like you are one of them, like you are a ska thief essentially, and
yeah, I feel like that was one of the ones I had going for me. So
yeah, so I think there's a little bit of respect there, and maybe like hadn't really looked to you like thought about you at any point, because Mouse kind of hangs out in the back a little bit and doesn't really put herself to the forefront. But you coming and talking to him about it, like I think he respects that, and so again, that like mutual respect kind of comes out of your interactions. And ZaKeer talking with Coil, I think what kind of works against you in this case is Coil is maybe still a little bit peeved about how the job went the other day that you were getting that information from. I think does understand you a bit better, and there's a rapport, but hasn't really reached that level of like confiding or wanting to come to you for anything. So you come with this like, you need boxes, like here's the budget, like give me your expense reports, that sort of thing, and does it, kind of respects what you're going for and stuff, but doesn't offer any more information and be like, yep, this is how much we need, and that's it. Very business like, but no like outright animosity.
Yeah.
So all of that happens over the course of a week. You'll have your little, the heart indicators appear of the, this is how your rapport has gone up. ZaKeer gets like a half. Mouse and
I'm
Hadzel
gonna get
a
the
similar.
support link if it's gonna kill me.
Coil is still pulling from when the job sort of went bad, and ZaKeer got a Coil will remember this.
Yeah. I'm thinking like the dragon is just like, it's like approves or slightly approves or very greatly approves or something like that.
Disapproves.
Yeah. So it was like approves, and then slightly approves. But as all this is kind of wrapping up and we get like further along the timeline here, Violette, everyone's still present. Everyone's being very actively involved in the training. Things are looking really good. Your crew is looking great. Everybody is now practicing with their weaponry. They moved on from like the training or the improvised weapons, and so they're practicing formations and drills. And I think Collar is doing a bit of like I guess role play with with some of them, the people that will be playing officers and asking them questions and stuff and making sure they stay in character, and like quizzing them on their personas and stuff. and Arch is again kind of to the side, sitting on a box, and watching the training as it continues.
Violette will approach, not dropping down from the ceiling. Sarah walks up. Ouch.
Lady Violette.
May we speak?
Sure. Here.
Outside.
All right. Gets off the box and follows you outside to the alley.
I have a proposition for you.
And what is that?
I am aware that you are aware that there might be motives behind this job that not all of the crew knows about. But, well, we've spent some time together, worked together, we've seen your men, and how well they work and are doing, and I want to bring you in.
Your man ZaKeer came to me about this a little while ago. I'm glad to see you made a decision.
I do not like to make assumptions, but I think our overarching goal might be something you're interested in. Vis-a-vis the ATM.
And what is that goal?
Well, you know, I assume, my standing within the city. And you also know the standing of my crew, the people that work with me. We have very strong feelings that the current pawns that are in power should not be. I want to go after House Lariel. And I want you on my team.
That's a pretty big play. I don't know if that's such a good idea for me, though.
No?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Personal reasons.
I thought as much.
Why?
Why what?
Why Lariel?
Many reasons. I'm not one to shy away from ambition. And if I'm going to take someone else's place in this city, it is not going to be of another minor house. Plus, I think the Lariels I know most of the people here, they don't trust people like me. Most people like me are shit. And as far as I'm concerned, the bar for nobles is low, as it is. But the Alariels are below us, dancing limbo with the devils.
So tell me this then. What means more to you? Taking their power? Or taking their lives?
Their lives mean very little to me. If they keep them, if they lose them, that will be based on the consequences of their own actions. They have a long history in this city, and it is not pretty. But I am not the one that's been harmed by them, at least directly. So I will not be the one to decide.
And who will?
I suppose the people they hurt the most.
I'm gonna have you roll charm.
Okay. Okay, so that's a 4. I think my drive is applicable here.
Okay.
Considering it's to take down all the other noble houses and put myself on top.
That is,
For
that's pretty.
many reasons, but
You're tapping into this drive for this role, so that's for this conversation. So that's fair.
I think I also want to pull, if I can, on my personality trait, which is idealistic. Because I think there's some real sway in telling people who have been wronged by people that, yeah, I'm gonna take him down, but he can probably infer if he wants that I'm talking about him. You get to decide what to do with him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think that's fair.
That's... okay, so that's 6. I'm just gonna roll those. I'm not gonna use any metal.
Okay. He's gonna roll 2. So he's gonna roll wits. Too many dice. That's 4. And then he has the trait suspicious. Debating. I think that is gonna apply here. So I'll put him with 5 to your 6.
Trying to think if I have any circumstances here. I did come into this conversation with an awful lot of prior knowledge. Thanks, Hadzel.
And if he picks up that he's not using emotional allomancy on him.
Okay.
Because he knows I
those
can.
Are 2 favorable. I'll say those are 2 favorable conditions if you're not using your allomancy.
Okay.
We need to do 7. Okay.
Yeah, 7.
7 to 5. Let's roll.
I've got a pair of 4s.
No pairs, just 2 6s. So you succeed. He thinks on it for a moment. That it? Not gonna try to soothe me, Riot?
No. For several reasons. This is very important to me. If you are going to be a part of this, to join us, you should do it because you want to, and because you're invested. Not because I soothed your suspicions, or rioted your anger at a noble house. If you are not invested on your own, then pass.
It's not a coincidence that you're coming to me about this and about House Lariel, is it? How'd you find out?
I have many resources at my disposal. And a friend who happens to be an expert in this sort of thing. Thus, you must have some ability yourself if you were able to suss out mine.
Well, if you, if you are Mistborn, why don't you tell me?
Tell you what.
Tell me if I'm burning metals right now.
This feels like a trap. I will... which one is it? Bronze?
Mm-hmm.
I'll burn bronze.
Okay. You do. And you focus. And you sense that he is also burning bronze.
Just the one.
Yeah, just the one. It's helpful with recruiting.
I imagine so. How many mistings are in your crew?
A couple. I suppose I owe you that information. It's who told me. Each crew here has a few. Different levels of skill.
I assumed as much.
You and your crew really need a couple of things. I like your outfit here. But damn, you need a smoker. Honestly. I'll help you. And I'm going to offer some advice along the way. And I want you to consider it carefully. Because I've been down this path before. Wanting revenge, power, whatever it is you want. And I'll tell you another thing. I don't like Mistborn. I really don't. Arrogant, cocky, overinflated sense of purpose. You seem all right, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here, but kind of reaches down and pulls down his shirt a little bit, and you see this just like edge of like a very nasty scar healed here. Says, Mistborn gave me this. Last time, I tried to do what it is that you're trying to do now. And that was the last time I saw my brother. Just so you know who you're going up against here.
Okay.
All right. I'll help. Fluke, you can come out. And he looks over his shoulder. As he looks over his shoulder, and you see a young girl is currently hiding around the corner. Comes running through, probably like around like 17 or 18. And she kind of like slinks up a little bit, and he says, "This is Fluke. Best misting I got on my team. She's a smoker. She'll help you." Looks down. She's kind of looking up at him and gives a smile. He pats her on the head and kind of ruffles her hair a little bit, kind of in like a fatherly way. And given the way that you're looking at her, you imagine there's like a familial connection between them. And as he smiles down at her warmly, and he says, "Don't go give him too much trouble, okay?" She said, "Yeah. So you're noble? Mistborn. Cool. All right.
And you're a smoker.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome to the team.
Holds out her hand.
Shake it. You called her a
Alright.
young girl, and I am thinking about the fact that she is very close in age to Violette.
Oh, how old is Violette?
Like 21 and stupid.
I might make her a bit younger. Let's say she's 16. Let's go with that.
I think I made her like 21. Yeah.
I mean, wasn't that the age difference between Vin and what's his face in the books? Like 16 and 20 something.
Yeah. We'll say she's 16, just to give a little more of the age difference, because I did kind of play her a bit younger than I think 17 or 18 too. So, yeah, that's kind of more I was thinking. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was
I
just
thought you were
gonna
about to say something.
say, let me, I suppose, introduce you to everyone.
Let's just not make a. Let's keep this between us, okay?
Of course.
All right. So you go back in.
Mhm.
Everybody else inside, as you've been kind of, I imagine, a little bit anxiously waiting to see how this conversation turns out. You see Violette and
Walk back in with a new friend she's picked up in the alley.
Well, Violette returns with Arch, and you see walking next to them is a girl that you have actually seen around here a little bit, and I think Violette, you've seen her before too, kind of skulking around but not really getting involved with like the training. But she's always never been like too far away from Arch, and the Arch breaks off and kind of like whispers to you and says, "I'm not going to get too friendly because I want to maintain appearances, but you can make the introductions." And he heads back to his seat, and Fluke follows you.
Oh. Fluke?
Yeah.
How do you know Arch?
He's my dad.
I figured. I was just wondering if you'd actually tell me.
Was that supposed to be a secret?
I don't think so. I think your dad considers everything at least sort of a secret.
Yeah, he's like that. So, where are we going?
To meet your new clue, I guess.
Cool. So I'm in charge?
No, I'm in charge.
Oh. Can I be in charge sometimes?
I tell you what. I've never had a ward before.
It's a ward. A woad.
A ward?
Ward? Ward? Were you trying to say wood?
No. I know what wood is.
Okay. Sorry, the noble accents just I can't understand them.
Well, they change from day to day and week to week, especially when I'm doing them. So, no, sometimes noble families will take on wards, people who they're helping out, like an apprentice.
Oh. Cool. So
So-
you're gonna teach me.
You hang out with me, and you learn the ropes, and we do some training. I imagine you're already pretty good at what you do, so am I. We train you up, and then when I'm not around, you can be in charge.
Okay.
I like this. Hadzel,
Yes, Mistress Violette.
a word? We should pick up Mouse and ZaKeer along the way.
As you say. And I'm sure we've established some kind of signals for just like, a whistle or a knock or even just a hand gesture of just like.
That means meet me in
let's-
the alley.
But we'll, if need be, take a little bit of time, collect the others so that it doesn't
Yeah.
seem too suspicious.
You all meet in the alley
Lunchtime.
inconspicuously. Yeah.
Seriously.
Uh,
Alright, what's up?
everyone?
How'd the
Went very good. Ouch is on board. And did provide me with some information. What are they called? What's he called? He's a seeker. I'm trying to remember all the words. Ouch is a seeker. He can burn
that tracks?
bonds and sense pulses of allomancy.
Mm.
So, there's that. He knows I'm a Mistborn. And he confirmed for me that he is from the Ilario bloodline.
Huh.
His brother is a Mistborn. And they have what I would call a tenuous relationship.
Who is the current head of House Alariel?
Lord Raoul, Ilario.
I did not ask for a name, but I figured we could suss it out. And we have a new teammate. Violet's being very, doing a dramatic reveal.
Oh, it's Fluke
With
there.
Fluke.
Okay, I didn't know if you dished her. Yeah. Fluke jumps out. She goes, ta-da.
Hi.
Hi, I'm introduce. Okay, I'll do it the same. I'm Fluke. I'm a smoker, and I'm Violette's Woad.
Are you trying to say wood?
I think I got that right. Whoa.
Yes, that is in the old tongue. That is what it's called.
She intends for you
You're
to
what
be
now?
a ward, young Mistress Fluke.
Ward.
I
Ward.
said apprentice, and that I felt like that got it across. This is Fluke. She's Mocha, as she said. And she's going to be joining us. And we are
Lovely.
going to take very good care of her. She is Archer's daughter.
Oh.
Just Fluke?
He is always going to call you mistress.
That's weird. But sure, I kind of like it. I've never been called that before. What does that mean?
It's a mark of respect.
Thank you, Mistress Hadzel.
Do
Nailed
not
it.
need
Yeah, that's
the-
exactly what. Yeah, you totally got that one.
I like her.
And that is Mouse, and that is ZaKeer.
Ah.
Though you might hear Orlin being thrown around.
You also
Oh,
might hear
okay.
him flapping around sometimes.
Is that... Y'all talk funny.
Oh, well, Orlin is an alias.
Ah.
And sometimes I can turn
get
into
that.
a bird.
Okay. Can you teach me how to do that?
Can you teach people how to do that?
Is that allomancy?
No.
That is something entirely different, young mistress.
Uh,
I don't know. I was reading a book out of your collection, Hadzel. Again, sorry. And I'm pretty sure that if you ingest enough metals over your lifetime, some of it has to make it into your bones.
That would make flight more difficult, not easier. You
No,
understand?
Are you messing with me?
I am trying to understand if you need some re-education in how bones work.
No, I know how
That
bones...
sounds like a threat. Holy shit.
Need some re-education.
I know.
I'm gonna educate you on how bones work.
Oh dear.
3 minutes.
Oh dear. Oh.
He's
goodness.
back in another show. He's here.
Done it. We can all go home
Conjure
now.
Man Randy Savage.
I can do it. I can do it.
No, I understand how bones work. I'm saying allomancy, you need metals. ZaKeer's thing, I don't know what it's called.
Condition.
Sure. ZaKeer's condition, you need bones. Now, if you had bones with enough metal in them, could an allomancer manipulate bones?
Well, the tenets of allomancy, you can't physically manipulate metals that you're burning. I wouldn't think that you would be able to manipulate metals that are internal.
Yeah,
Yes, I
most
do
of stuff that's
believe.
inside like that.
Has anyone ever tried?
Yes, very much so.
That is the book I should be reading then.
What if you get two allomancers who are able to pull metals? Just keep continuously pulling each other in the air. Like
What does that have to
slingshotting.
do? Wait, what does that have to do with bones?
I thought we were
I
trying
Around
to
will
this
have
get each
to
other to
time.
find some
fly.
books for you all to read.
Oh, that is.
Start wildly coming up with theories of.
If you're good enough at pushing it, it's kind of like flight.
Around this time, somebody darts around the alley, and you see one of Coil's watchers, her scouts, I guess, come like whipping around, almost running into your group.
Shit.
As she's heading towards the door, sort of stops. Ministry, down the road. They're heading this way.
Shit, get in.
heads inside. Just looking like white as a sheet.
Fluke, can you get a cloud up?
Yep. And like no visible change, but just yep.
In. Everyone in.
I think is
Just
Again,
some
we probably
random building we were reading next to.
well, I assume back into the warehouse, but I assume
Oh,
we
yeah.
have plans for this, and
I was about to say
either
the same thing.
so things of like we have bolt
Oh, shit,
holes
the
prepared,
cogs.
or even just like the next building over has been kept empty and things like that, and also with Sasha's 8 strength or whatever he has, and if Hadzel temporarily bulks up, we can like move the warehouse shelves back into position.
I was
Yeah.
imagining that, like, because we have like the spears and shields and stuff that we'd kept like just a big open crate, and if anything happens, dunk them all in, cover them up. Violette's also gonna burn copper.
Okay.
I don't know how far the clouds go if we have at least 2 people.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So everybody begins to hide things. Like I meant, yeah. There's like false floors where they put all the weapons down into, bolt holes for like people begin to like scramble into like hiding places and into like heading out the alley, just like scattering very quickly. Are y'all staying behind? Like, what's the plan? Is somebody like this is Violette's warehouse essentially?
Yeah, I'm
so-
allowed to be here.
Yeah.
And Hadzel would be there as her steward, helping. Probably takes like the clipboard that ZaKeer was normally take.
Keep that.
Hadzel, I will get you your own clipboard.
He just keeps stealing it back and forth.
I think we can budget for Hadzel to have his own clipboard.
No, I like this idea of the weirdest game of grab clipboard.
Just whoever desperately needs a clipboard, just snatch it from the other one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the eye among the 3 fates.
Oh, that's
That's good.
That's a reference.
that is a reference. Good one.
That's that. I mean, I imagine Mouse is allowed to be there too, because there's sort
She
of
would
like
look like
the-
she'd want to get out of Dodge unless somebody tells her to stay, though.
That's true. So if she wants to hide, I don't think I mean, Violette's not gonna stop her. It's just if she gets caught somewhere, it's sort of known that there's at least this facade of like her working for
Yeah, that's true.
the Laurents, so it's not like terrible.
So
ZaKeer, I don't know if I can help you.
ZaKeer just pulls the brim of his hat down, picks up a box, and starts walking away.
yeah, I think most everyone hides. Fluke goes into like the crawl space underneath to hide as well. Some of the people you probably plan for this stay up to act as workers. Some of like the scoff and the crews like doing kind of the same thing as
Moving
ZaKeer.
crates.
Yeah. And within a few moments, there is a knock at the like the warehouse door.
As if I haven't had enough interruptions today. Your Hadzel. I'm sorry, Hadzel, the door, please. That was me
Mistress.
fucking it up.
Hadzel will go make sure his robes are in order. Quickly glance around to make sure nothing's out of place, and then we'll open the door.
You open the door, and immediately standing there, with like the streets are like crowded, but like everybody's kind of pushed back and moved away, and you see a couple of obligators standing there. One like immediately in the door as you open it, in their pressed, clean robes, and he says, "Are you the proprietor of this establishment?"
That would be my mistress, the Lady Violette Laurent.
Will Lady Violette Laurent permit us access to inspect her warehouse? We have reason to believe that there may be scar criminals utilizing facilities in this district for unknown purposes.
Turning back towards Violette. Mistress, these obligators from the canton of I'm trying to get too fancy and remember the specific terms. These
It's the
obligators,
ministry.
the ministry
Yeah.
would like to inspect the warehouse. They believe there are criminals making use of buildings in the neighborhood.
Criminals. In my warehouse. I don't think so. Of course. I assume you want to come in.
Yes, we would.
Violette is talking loudly and obnoxiously, and hoping the people who are still sort of around and hiding are making their way out. Of course. Come in, have a look. As far as I am aware, we're on a very tight ship here. Hadzel does excellent work, but of course, feel free.
Thank you for your consideration. And he does not step forward, but steps back and aside as another figure steps from around the corner
I'm gonna
to enter
kick
the warehouse.
his ass.
Tall, very tall, with two metal spikes jutting out from
Fight
their
him.
head
I kick his ass.
as a steel inquisitor stoops and ducks inside. And that is where we're going to enter session for today.
Uh-oh, John.
We're
Uh-oh,
in
dude.
danger.
You
I
might
mean,
be.
It's fine, right? You're making a cloud and no one's doing
Yeah, it's
anything.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's
fine.
fine.
It's fine. Don't worry about
Totally
it.
fine.
Narrator voice. It was not fine.
It was
We
not
don't know
fun.
that. We might be fine. This is just our first actual encounter with one of these
Just say-
fuckers.
Hadzel and Violette just turn around and look at the camera, terrified as a giant steel inquisitor behind them, and then it's just... You're probably wondering how we ended up here.
Yeah. Record scratch.
Looks like
We're
we
not,
Steven
we know
first
what we
had
did.
it.
All right.
Okay, this will be fun.
I'm
We
gonna
are-
fight him.
We're going to call our session there. Let's go ahead and
Please
do our
don't fight
end
him.
of
I'm gonna beat his
session
ass.
questions.
Please don't do that.
1v1 me, bro.
I'd love to see how that turned out.
Bad. It would turn out bad.
It would-
Next time in the Dungeons of Credit Shaw.
Oh no.
Yeah, because there's
Savvy has to roll a new character.
part of me wants to see how that go. The other part of me is very scared to actually have to run a Steel Inquisitor because there is so much going
Holy
on this
shit.
sheet here.
Holy shit, do they have a
so-
lot of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so
All
that's
of them
where we're
spikes.
going.
Spike,
Yeah.
spike,
Let me
spike,
go
spike,
ahead
spike,
and
spike.
read off the questions so you can mark your, what are they called? Improvements, advancements. So,
116.
number one, did you complete a scheme or achieve a personal goal?
We got Arch on the crew.
Yeah, that was kind of
That
a whole
was a scheme. Yeah, it was a scheme that you concocted and executed.
We
in
also
the course of one
concluded
session.
the scheme
Barney
of
scheme.
Big Barney, yeah.
Barney.
Yeah.
Every time I forgot his name was Barney, when he got mentioned, I was like, every time. Oh shit, that's his name again.
Oh, we did name the man Barney.
He prefers to be called Large Barnabas.
Barnabas.
But so that would still
Alright.
only count for one advancement, right? Even though it was
It's still
multiple
one, yeah.
schemes.
Yeah, I'm just proud of us.
It's a binary yes or no. So yeah, you did. So you get the
We
advancement.
finished ZaKeer's scheme of stealing documents, even though he did it bad.
I did it badly.
Oh, I forgot
And that
about Yeah,
might
that
be
guy had
why
that.
they're here.
Oh.
Have you
Okay.
made a critical choice at a turning point in the game? Not yet.
Yeah.
Might be coming up.
Well,
Uh,
is it a critical choice? to decide to give a ton of sensitive information to probably the most powerful crew leader in the city to get him on our team? And to
That's a
get a new
good
team
point.
member?
Bringing Arch in, I think maybe might be been a critical choice there, because that might be that is a turning point.
Because if
I think, yeah.
because if I had said that stuff and it had broken bad,
yeah, I could agree with that. Okay. Did you reveal a powerful secret?
yes,
You definitely did that.
me, I did.
Yeah.
I feel like I always do,
I revealed someone
Don't
else's
do that.
secret?
and it was
Yeah.
powerful.
Revealed archers, yeah.
It was extremely powerful.
Yeah, you've revealed a couple. All right. Defeat a central villain. No. Did you fulfill your character's destiny? I don't think anyone did that. Overcome a character's tragedy.
Not
No.
yet. Working on it.
Have you grappled with none of you have burdens? Did you achieve something vital to the story or the crew's survival?
Haze,
Yeah.
killer, training.
Yeah, you did. You've done a couple of things that I think were vital at this point. That you've done the training of training your crew and moving this along. Stay in
Yeah.
character, which you all did. Did you selflessly improve the quality game for everyone? Which I think you all did. So that's 6 this week.
I have so many
Jeez.
now.
We're gonna need a breather and to spend
Yes,
so many
please.
advancements.
Yeah.
Well, my hope is in the next session we'll resolve this. We will kind of breeze through the rest of the training period. We'll do the scene with the securing the contract, and that'll be a good time to do the breather before you get into the heist itself. So
Where are you guys sitting at for advancements?
14.
17.
16.
I have 14 too. So yeah.
yeah, the max
Shit.
is 20 that you can hold on to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can work into.
We
get
all
through
gambled
enough
on the
so-
last one of we could probably go one more round.
Yeah. I think most of you should hit the cap probably by next session, and then we'll take a breather, and then you can spend your advancements on stuff. So awesome, which I'm excited to see all the shit that you can buy in your
Yeah,
next
because we
time, so,
previously decided that we can
Yeah, that you
get
can-
more than one.
yeah.
Right.
Since we're
okay.
doing less frequent breathers, I think that makes
I have
sense.
some ideas.
Okay. Yeah, my rating's going up.
Awesome. Well, good game, y'all. So, we talked about this, I think, before the stream, but I don't think I mentioned it on the stream. We might not have our next session in 2 weeks. We're just gonna have to see where things come up. I'm hoping that we'll be able to play 2 weeks from now, and we'll be in our new house and ready to go. But we will keep everybody up to date on what's going on. If not, we'll be back in February for our next session on the 12th. But stay tuned in the meantime. Keep an eye on our social media. Follow us on Twitter. Join our Discord. See everything we've got going on. Anybody have anything they want to plug or promote before we get going? Okay. Well, thank you to my lovely players for making this a joy to run. And thank you, everyone out there, for watching. We will see you next time. And until then, good game and good night, Internet.